Well, the National Energy Regulator of South Africa has approved an almost 19% increase in electricity prices for 2023-2024 financial year. And now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into how South Africans will now be affording to pay a little bit more for electricity, especially considering that they have now up to 8 hours of no power due to load shedding. And joining me just to unpack a little bit of what is the rationale behind the increase, I'm now joined by Nhlanhla Gumede, who is a regulator at Nersa. Nhlanhla, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Obviously, it's been a busy afternoon for you. Tell us a little bit about the rationale for Nersa to make that decision to, approve that increase that was requested by Eskom.
Good afternoon to yourself and the followers of Newzroom. Unfortunately, this is a legal process. Nersa is guided by the Electricity Regulation Act, as well as the methodologies that are actually promulgated under that act. So as a condition of license for Eskom, we've got an MIPD methodology. Currently it's MIPD4 methodology, so that's the methodology that Nersa was forced by the court to then continue to implement until a new methodology has been developed. So the decision that sits before us is one that is predicated on that methodology to the T, without a deviation.
Now, Nhlanhla, South Africans may find some humor at the fact that they will be forking out more on the 1st of April, being April Fool's Day. Tell us a little bit about, we've heard back from Eskom as well in response to your decision. Can you tell us a little bit about the back and forth that is going to take place now as they also make sense of the 18.65% that you've given them, just looking forward to the next meeting that Nersa is going to have?
Well, we need to have a conversation with Eskom on a number of areas. The key issue here is always going to be the availability, the so-called EAF, the energy availability factor. That is the availability of the coal plants that Eskom has. Because the reason why we are digging deep and as consumers having to pay for more diesel and having to pay for more of this other more expensive mode of generating electricity is because those plants are just not available. The question is, what is it that Eskom can do to improve the availability? So we need to have far more conversations than we've had before. So that's going to be the key discussion point. The second discussion point is that, look, we've applied as Eskom for to use the open cycle gas turbines to the tune of 12% load factor, as it's called, and you, Nersa, are saying, no, we're not going to allow anything more than 6%. Now, we then need to have a conversation, because even that 6% that is being allowed, it comes with conditions, strict conditions, including, things like making sure that those plants are properly maintained, making sure that the manner in which the diesel is used for what it was intended, which is only for peaks, that is morning and evening peak, and so forth. And also just basically saying you've got to improve the non-availability of your plants. It can't continue this way. So we're going to have those kinds of very difficult conversations.
And Nhlanhla, tell us, is this not a matter of pushing the Eskom back onto the consumer?
Well, not really. I mean, the fact is, traditionally, electricity has been supplied by Eskom, and in fact, in fact, the municipalities have also been buying electricity from Eskom as the major generator, transmitter, and distributor. But perhaps, and therefore, we all have had a reliance as this economy on Eskom. So any problem at Eskom, be it its financial problem in nature or technical problem in terms of plant performance, becomes a problem for the consumers, unfortunately. So it's not Nersa pushing it on the consumers, but it's basically what it is.
And just as a final question, Nhlanhla, before I let you go this evening, what's your take on some energy analysts saying that Nersa is no longer an independent energy regulator, but led by politicians to grant those tariff increases year after year?
Well, we've been accused of also, first not just granting, but also that we've been accused previously that we were not granting the applied for applications because we are responding to politicians. The answer to that is no. I mean, we've got a group, we've got 9 independent minds. Even this decision that we arrived at of this 18.65 was a very difficult position because, yes, there were others that simply said, if we were to implement the methodology to the T in terms of what is it, we're asking for a higher number. And there are those that are simply saying, no, in fact, we should not be granting Eskom anything less and anything more than inflation. So we actually had to argue and haggle amongst the 9 of us to have a landing. So the fact that we are influenced by others, yes, it might be perception out there, but it's not real.
Nhlanhla, that's where we're going to have to leave it this evening. Thank you so much for making time for us this evening. I know you've been quite busy, of course. That was Nhlanhla Gumede, who is a Nersa regular member.